woke up early this morning and made it to the cafe that I had breakfast at right when they were opening, right at 9 o'clock, I think. And the couple that runs it is this really friendly, chatty couple. And they make toast sets, kind of like what I've been having in other cafes. So it's like a little salad, some toast, an egg, and some floppy ham. I'm being polite now, it's floppy bacon. But you could just think of it as ham and you're all right. So got that taken care of, and I think that was like 700 yen or something, so it's pretty cheap to just get your morning started. And today I'm gonna go over to the west side of Kyoto, over to an area called Arashiyama. And I've been over there before, but only one time, and it's been a while, so kind of want to get another look at it and just see what it looks like. If you've been there, you know why I'm going. But if you don't, you'll find out soon. Unless, of course, there's logistical problems. I made it out to Arashiyama, which actually means Storm Mountain in Japanese. And like I said before, this is on the western side of Kyoto. So it's the opposite side that I've been exploring. And on my way out here, I took the bus because I was like, I'm not walking and going through what I went through yesterday. And it worked out really easy. It was just a single bus that went from the area that I was in all the way out here. And it took, I don't know, like 45, 50 minutes. So it's quite a long way. And it got me thinking as I was looking out the window on the bus that Kyoto is smaller than Tokyo by a significant amount, but Tokyo is built in a way that it's like you have islands of like high density living area in urban centers. And then there's like, of course it's still the city, but it breaks down and you have a little, less high density, and then it gets into high density again. It's like islands with like little areas of, low density. It's not low density by any means, but it's lower density. Kyoto feels kind of like the center area is really wide, it's really flat, and it seems consistently about the same population density as you drive along. And it just really attributes to the different feel between the two cities. They do feel quite a lot different, especially since I know Tokyo so intimately at this point. I can really see the difference between the two, the way that they're laid out and the way that things feel and the size of the buildings and the density of everything. It really does point out just like how different they are, even though I think a visitor might come and feel like that they are somewhat similar cities. Maybe I'm wrong about that. That's kind of like, I think the first time that we came to Japan and we came to Kyoto, we came to Tokyo, of course they were a little different, but I didn't just notice how unique Kyoto is compared to most other Japanese cities. This area of Arashiyama is super touristy. Did you like that scene change? Like I just kind of got up and moved, gave you a little bit different background. Arashiyama is really touristy, and it's kind of on the edge of the city, the same way that Higashiyama, where I've been spending the last 2 days, is sort of up against the foothills of some hills, like in the foots of some hills. And you can see some of them up here behind me. And I'm on just the edge, on the end of the fall color season. There's really not that much left to be seen that's like super like popping and beautiful, but there's still a gradient of color and stuff that's going on with the trees on the hills behind me. And the area is also famous for this river here that's running behind me. You can see it's kind of just like a peaceful, it's not like raging rapids or anything. And as you come over here, there's this bridge, and the bridge is super famous. I don't think it's wooden. I think it kind of looks like an older bridge. I walked on it. I didn't even process what is this made out of. We'll check in a minute. And you can see that it's just, everybody comes here and they'll just walk across the bridge, right? Things are not incredibly packed with tourists right now, but there's quite a few people over there walking across that bridge. When we've been here in the past, it was like penguin walking, like across, like you were crammed in with a lot of people. And this is a little more like you got room for your elbows, your penguin elbows. So it's not like, it's more pleasant, let's just put it that way. And the deal here though is that it is Saturday today. So there's gonna be like local tourists and there's gonna be like domestic tourists coming on the weekend and things like that. So I expect it to be a little more crowded than it's been the last couple days. And I'm gonna go over and see if I can check out this bamboo forest. We've been there before, But I recall maybe when we were here it was hot out, because I remember walking across this bridge before and being like, woo, it's warm out. So I think the season is different than when I was here before, because I mean, obviously it's cold. I mean, look how I'm dressed, it's December, y'all. So I'm gonna go check out this bamboo forest, and that's what's cool about nature stuff is like, if you go in different seasons, it becomes a different experience. But since I can barely even remember what it was like when I was here before, I don't know if I'm gonna pick up on the minute differences between the previous visit, but the bamboo forest is dope. I hope it's opened. I think it will be. All right, this was a bit of a trick. The walking path is definitely made of concrete, but this handrail is made of wood. The area around the bridge is super touristy. It's kind of got like the normal kind of vibe that you would get from these little tourist areas. To me, it's not quite as, I don't know, picturesque as what you see on Arashiyama. But once you get out of that area, you are just surrounded by temple and shrine and temple and shrine and temple and shrine. Some of the leaves are starting to pop in certain areas, like depending on how much sunlight they get. Some places are looking all right. And then eventually you get out of the little touristy town area, and you're not away from tourists, but you get into the bamboo forest. The bamboo forest is awesome. Look how big they are. Even though there's a lot of people here in this little area, it's like really peaceful feeling. Like it's quiet in a weird way. It's almost like the bamboo is absorbing sound. It just makes the whole vibe supreme. It's a really cool vibe. I can't even fault it for all the people. And even now, it's really not that crowded. Some people were like, wow, I've never seen it with this few people or whatever. I'm like, oh, there's a couple of people, it could be better. But I mean, you know, usually it's like butts and nuts up in here, and here you can kind of just leisurely chill and walk through, and there's quite a few people taking advantage of that with like professional photo shoots and stuff. They're in kimono, or there was a couple back there that was dressed in their wedding attire and stuff, and they were paying somebody to come and help them take nice pictures, and kind of waiting for the crowd to thin out and then take a couple of pictures and then move on with their day and find a new spot. But yeah, big fan of the bamboo forest, 10 out of 10. Even though it's the end of the fall, there's still some pretty awesome colors to be found. Further up past the bamboo forest, you walk up a hill, and you know when you go up hills and stuff, it changes the way like plants act and things. That's the situation I've run into, and there's just corridors of really pretty areas, and no lack of fall colors are still popping up here. Scattered amongst the bamboo and the fall leaves and the temples and shrines, there are some little restaurants, and they're really quaint and cute. And I busted up into this one and got a little bowl of udon that is made with a whole bunch of mountain vegetables, I guess is the best way to say it. And a rickshaw is coming. We were kind of like doing that thing where you dance, you know what I mean? I don't want to mess that guy's day up. And the shop was really nice. Like the people that worked there were amazing. It was like an older family, or older, I guess it was like great grandma and then grandma and grandpa. And grandpa was like giving kids candy and stuff like that. And great grandma was like shocked at how big I was. And like I stood all the way up and stretched out. And she literally was like just barely half as tall as me. She was so small. And the rest of the people in the restaurant just like lost their minds. And like all these like hip girls were like, "Oh, sugoi, kakoi!" And I'm like super turning red and stuff, because they're just basically like, "Oh, what's like you're cool," kind of, you know what I mean? I'm not a big fan of like people like I'm not. It's fine that it's happened, but it's just, it makes me uncomfortable when like I get pointed out. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just kind of weird. Like I don't know what to say. Like, oh yeah, I'm tall. Like I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, the udon was really good. Had a lot of flavor in it from all the vegetables and stuff, and put a bunch of shichimi, which is like this spicy pepper that they have on the table in, and it's a really good way to warm up on a cold day. Especially, it is kind of cold and like it's kind of gloomy today. Does bamboo just like naturally grow in this particular little area better than other places, or are they planting it specifically for the vibe? I mean, regardless, I'm happy about whatever is happening. They have got another little patch of bamboo here, that they've built a little forest like trail through, so you can do a loop to walk through the bamboo. And rickshaws are even coming through here, which is kind of impressive because I can't imagine what that would be like if it was busy. I made it back down to where I started here in Arashiyama, where the bus dropped me off, and I was like, okay, well, you know, I'm gonna find a cafe or something and just chill for a little bit because I'm pretty cold. Like, it's not freezing out, but you know, when you're out in it for a while, and even the restaurant I ate at, I'm having trouble talking lately. The restaurant that I ate at was not like heated at all. It was like kind of just like a little chilly in there. What is it right now? It is like 9 degrees Celsius. I mean, again, it's not like terrible, but something warm and a place to sit and warm up would have been nice. However, the crowds down here have gotten out of control. It is pretty crowded, and all of the cafes and stuff that I walk past have got long lines waiting to get into them. So I think that's not going to be a thing. I guess what I'm going to do is try to figure out how to get back into the regular part of the city, but I worry that I'm going to be on a really crowded bus for that like 45-minute journey. So maybe there's an alternative method that I can take of transportation. I don't think there's a train that I can take. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything like that. But I don't know. Maybe walking into the city a bit might be less miserable than standing on a moving bus, like with a mask on and a whole bunch of people and like all that. So that might end up being what I'm gonna do. English. I'm taking a couple of buses across the city, and this is the bus stop that I'm waiting at for the next bus. It'll only be a minute or two. It might be, nope, it's not this one. And they've got this system of, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like an analog system that shows you when the next bus is going to be arriving and like where it is on the line with these little dots that move in this board. And I just found that to be kind of fascinating. I've never seen that before. I've come to a little cafe just at complete random. I just picked a point on the map and like go there and find a cafe. And they've got apple pie. And she makes it here. It's pretty good apple pie, guys. And I'm an American. It's hard to go wrong with apple pie, though. She put some caramel on it. There's some cinnamon, some sugar. And I got a coffee, so I'm going to be like tripping out hard here pretty soon because I'm not used to caffeine. It's a pretty good coffee, too. This set's like 900 yen. And mostly I'm doing this because it's freezing cold outside at this point. I'm dying. I needed a place to warm up. So I just beeline for this. And afterwards, I'm hoping that I'll have enough heat in my body that I can go walk around a little bit and see an area that I just picked at total random. I like doing that sometimes, just like looking at a map and being like, whoop, basically throwing a dart. That's basically what I did. So we'll see what we can come up with, and I might have to do some logistical stuff here for the evening. I might do some laundry so that I don't run out of laundry. I'm all full of apple pie and coffee now, and I'm like tweaking out. Like I said, coffee does me in. I have like a coffee like very rarely enough that the caffeine is just like it's like doing speed. There was a dude in that little cafe, and there was two staff members. There was a lady and there was a dude, and the lady was in there, and this customer, the other dude, was just chatting her up hard, and she was just like not interested at all in what this guy was talking about. And I was like, man, he seems a little weird, like just listening to the things they were talking about. He was just kind of all over the place. And when I was leaving, I couldn't see him during the whole conversation, but when I was leaving, I got up and then I could see him, and he started talking to me just about how tall I was, the normal stuff. He's wearing a bicycle helmet, and he's really drunk. Like, the smell is just like pouring out of him. So like, I'm thinking like, dude, you shouldn't ride a bike. But maybe the helmet is just there in case he starts falling down because he's so drunk. Maybe it's not a bicycle helmet, maybe it's a drunk guy helmet. I don't know. It was just like, I mean, he was nice to me. She seemed like she knows him. And when she eventually, they had a dog in the cafe, by the way, and it barked at me a whole bunch. But she took the dog for a walk, and the dude stopped talking. Like, he didn't talk to the other staff member at all. Like, not a word. So I don't know if he's just got the hots for the girl that works there or whatever, but regardless, maybe she took the dog for a walk for her own sake rather than the dog's. Anyway, hope that guy makes it home. I'm walking down past the Kyoto Imperial Palace grounds, and it's like a big park, basically. It is opened, I guess, all the time, even though it is pitch black out in here. Like, I have the camera thing cranked so that it's like visible me, but let me see if I can make an adjustment here to show you. Oops, wrong way. It looks more like this to my eyes. It's really dark. And it seems like maybe some lights, if you're going to have a park open all night, would probably be like a safety feature, because like this could be a creepy situation. Regardless, the reason I came in here is because I need to use the bathroom. I knew there'd be a bathroom in here someplace. In Japan, the public toilets sometimes make this bing bong noise, and you can probably hear it. This building that's behind me is a public toilet, and it is making that sound. And it's, I guess, so that blind people can find the direction towards the toilet. But in this case, since I was essentially basically blind, it helped me like tone in, like, where do I go, which direction? Because I mean, like, from a distance, that just looks like some lights, and you don't know if that's a bathroom or not, you know what I mean? But if you can hear the sound dinging, then you can head in the right direction. It's kind of a nice feature. The quirks and features of Japan. Japan does better than a lot of countries do with regards to pedestrian, bicycle, and car infrastructure. But there are areas where it breaks down, like this little road that I'm walking down. The sidewalk, I'm standing like over a thing right now to keep myself from getting hit by that bike. So the sidewalk is pretty narrow because it's supposed to be for people, like pedestrians. However, the area for bicycling is in the street. It's in like a bicycle gutter. So nobody wants to ride their bike in that gutter because the cars that are going by fast. So they ride where the pedestrians are walking. And then like it sort of sucks for the pedestrians because maybe you're gonna get hit by a bicycle. Because like, literally, this is like a one-person wide street, like, or sidewalk. There's not room for even somebody to pass. You kind of have to squiggle past them, you know what I'm saying? So, like, they could probably, like, I don't know what they could do, but I just wish it was better. For the record, most of the city is, like, really well built. The sidewalks are usually nice and wide where there's going to be, you know, traffic and stuff. There's a lot of small, narrow roads that you have to walk down, but it's not a big deal because there's such little traffic in those areas. And a lot of the sidewalks are even like split up and divided where there's for pedestrians and where there's for people on bicycles and stuff. So I'm not complaining about the whole city. It was kind of just that one area, but that one area is really long. I just realized that maybe most people are walking through the park, and that's why maybe it doesn't matter. All right, it's dinner time, and like I've said like 1,000 times, it's been pretty cold all day, so I was like, I want to get some warm soup. I want to get some good like ramen or something. So I was standing where I was standing, and I typed in Tantan Men, which is like one of my favorite ramens. I don't know, ramen, Tantan Men's, one of my favorite soups. And it is it's got like a spice to it, and they put ground up meat inside of it. And the spice has got like a numbing flavor that happens in your mouth, right? They use a special pepper for it. And it's just amazing. And if it's cold outside, this will warm you up like hardcore. It's really nice. The place seems really big, so I wonder if it's like a chain or like a local chain or something. It doesn't feel like a little one-off, right? But I was sitting here and I was filming the noodles, right? The men lifto, when you're lifting the noodles. I was filming it using my right hand to hold the camera, and I'm right-handed, so I used chopsticks with my right hand. So I was using chopsticks with my left hand, kind of like, it looked kind of goofy what I was trying to do, because I was like, you know, holding the camera and like doing this and da-da-da-da. And I was using my non-dominant hand with the chopsticks, and one of the staff guys came and he was like, "Do you need a fork?" I was like, "No, dude, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just using the camera with my dominant hand or whatever." But anyway, let's get into a little bite of this. Oh, look at all that steam. That's what I'm talking about, y'all. The thing about Tantan Men is, like, even when it's not that great, it's still really good. It's like pizza. And they usually like put peanuts in it and stuff. And this place had a whole bunch of different types. They had like a vegetarian one, and they had a goma one, and I don't know, the menu was extensive. I just went with the standard stuff because, like, the first time you go to some place, maybe, you know, try the standard stuff. The other thing that I've got here that I forgot to make video of in advance is some karage, which is a piece of fried chicken, and they throw this onto this set for like 300 yen or something. You get 3 pieces of it. I've walked around a lot today. I earned this. I deserve this. So, I mean, it's not like the best karage ever, but it's not bad. I think they just made it. It's not like it's been sitting around, because it's so crispy on the outside. It hasn't like gotten like soggy. Sometimes that happens if they leave it like in a place to keep it warm or whatever. Actually, it's pretty good. I shouldn't have talked smack about that. If this is a chain, they're doing a pretty good job. Like, I'm impressed. But it could just be because it's exactly what I wanted. You know, when you get pleased exactly, even if it's like not over the moon, you're still like, yeah, this is pretty good. For a long time, I've thought about trying to get good at using chopsticks with both hands at the same time, just to blow people's minds here. But I've never done it. I need to focus on it. People are like, can you use chopsticks? And people are like, I can use chopsticks. Bam! Hit it up with both. I gotta practice. Before I had dinner, I made a stop over to a store called Yodobashi Camera, which is a really big electronic store. It's a chain that's in Japan. Think about like Best Buy, but like 4 or 5 floors of Best Buy, but it carries even more stuff. That's kind of what's going on. Even though the name is just Yodobashi Camera, they carry way more than camera gear. However, I did go over there to get some camera gear, and I was going to explain like what I got and why I got it. I use this. This is a camera that we're usually filming with. It's a bit of a chunky boy, and I use this clip system, right, that is on the camera. So you get these little pieces here, these little round nublins, and then you have something, and in my case, I wear this thing on my wrist like this, okay? And what you do is you clip this into there, and now the thing can't fall. So whenever I am walking around or anything, I have this strap on my wrist, this thing clipped in, and then the camera is here. And what's cool about this is if you need to hand this to somebody else, you just pull these things out really easy. Like, they just go together like that and unsnap. And then you can hand the camera to somebody else. And Kyde has one of these wrist straps as well, but then she can clip it into her. You don't have to worry about dropping your gear. The problem that I have is that I'm constantly walking around with this thing on my hand like this, and it makes my back like because one arm has got this extra like few pounds of weight on it all day long. And another issue that I have is when Katie's not here, if I need to go to a bathroom, typically if Kyde is here, I'll take this thing off and hand it to her, and she holds it like a baby while I go to the bathroom and then come back, and then she hands this back, or vice versa, depending on who has the camera under their control, right? So the issue that I have is Katie's not here. So I was like, how can I solve this problem? So I found out that this company that makes these locking mechanisms can also sell just this piece without the straps, right? So I went over to Yodobashi Camera and I got 2 of those, and I hooked them onto my purse, right? So now, oh, this has a magnet in it, by the way. So it's like, by the way, this isn't sponsored. This is just like background to what I do. So this isn't all just like dangling around. So now if I need to go to the bathroom, or I want to walk around without having my hand like, or it's cold outside and I want to put my hands in my pockets, which is really the other driving factor, I can take the camera, which again has those little red nublins on it, and it's got 2 of them actually. It's got one on each side. And I set this up so I have one of these here, and then another one down here, ta-da! And now I just have, that's a really simple solution without having a bunch of more strap stuff. Like I always have my camera bag with me anyways. So now I can just do this and put my hands in my pockets or use a urinal or wash my hands or do something with 2 hands without having this camera like dangle around on me. And that was worth 30 bucks, even though it's 30 bucks for these 2 tiny little pieces of plastic. I'm totally sold. Now it is time to do laundry. Okay, so Kyoto. See, I've got my laundry going, by the way, so got a few minutes here. I'm going to be going to Totori tomorrow to meet up with Kyde, and then we're going to start filming a series down in Totori. So look forward to that coming soon. But this this Kyoto series, it was an opportunity for me to come down on the way to Totori to check out Kyoto during the time of Corona, while there were no international tourists. And there definitely was less tourists than usual, but it certainly wasn't zero. There was quite a bit of domestic tourism going on. However, it was pretty cool to get to see the city like this. And I mean, as much as I love traveling with Kyde, it's also fun to just travel like in your own way sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's a mega planner. Like, she likes finding out like everything you can do and like getting it locked down and all that stuff. And she's done that for our upcoming Totori trip. But I am more of a person that's just kind of like, okay, well, I'm just going to go someplace and like, I'll just look on the map and randomly pick a place and go over there and like do the thing. And then wherever I am, if I'm hungry, just type in like whatever food I'm feeling and go to the nearest one. Kyoto's perfect for that type of travel because there's so much. Like, you could spend months and months filming constantly here and not even scratch the surface of every little thing that there is here. There's so many restaurants, there's so many temples and shrines, there's just so much in this city. And it's so accessible that you can get to things fairly easily. There's a subway system, the bus system exists, and it's kind of confusing, but you can figure it out. And a lot of the city is walkable. If you lived here for a while and had a bicycle, it would also be an awesome way to explore. I'm leaving Kyoto today feeling stronger about how I feel about Kyoto than I've ever felt before. In the past, I've also always been like, yeah, there's a lot there, but you have to deal with all these crowds and stuff. But that's probably not fair to the actual city itself. And coming here during this time gave me the opportunity to like actually see what the city is without having it, you know, wrapped in this infiltration of human beings. Yeah, I'm stoked that I came down. This was a great 3 days, and now I'm looking forward to Totori. And every time I tell somebody that I'm going to Totori, their question is, why? I actually don't know. So we're gonna find out. I think you're the one that's in focus now. Yeah, you look great.
Good.
This is the final video of the Kyoto series that I shot that turned into 3 videos, and I hadn't gotten down there anticipating it would be like 1 video.
Yeah.
So this was the last one, and coming up next is going to be a bunch of stuff where Kyde comes back into the game, and we're in Totori, and we're doing some adventuring down there. So hopefully everybody is looking forward to that and has... are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to going through that footage too. I've already forgotten I have such a bad memory. I've already forgotten what we did down there.
Man, then so we were in for a surprise.
I really am. So, I do remember. Oh yeah, it starts off as a banger.
It does start off as a banger. Probably one of the best experiences we've had. I shouldn't say experiences. It was one of the coolest things to see in Japan.
Yeah, it was. It's
very cool.
You should, y'all.
No spoilers?
We've tingled the curiosity senses enough. Everybody should be subscribed and ring the bell so that when I click the Totori button, your phone goes because that's kind of the game that we're aiming to hopefully get going.
And if you've been enjoying these videos, you can go over to Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, also Discord. I was on there this morning. Saying stuff.
All that stuff's linked. All that stuff's linked down below. So if you want to hang out with us in all these different places and stuff. I was curious about, like, why don't you have a badass pop collar like me? And look how fresh I look.
I'm anti-collar.
You're anti-collar?
Yeah, because you can't store them properly. It's really like just because I store all my clothes like really lazily, and I realized that I'd end up just wearing collars all the time that looked really bad. So I'm anti-collar.
Well, maybe when we move, you'll have a little more room.
No, it doesn't matter.
Oh.
It didn't change whether I hung them or whether I put them in, like, folded them up.
You're not going to look fresh. What can I say? Like, I mean, I'm going to be the better looking one. So that's how it's going to be.
That's fine. That's how I'm totally fine with that. You keep popping that collar walking around.
And if you would like to help us afford more fresh collars, the best way to do that is on Patreon, which is how we fund all our videos and everything. And that it's also linked down below.
Funding the videos, or are we funding your T-shirt? Like, what the hell are you talking about?
I mean, we got it's kind of both. I mean, people want to see a good-looking person on the screen. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you got to have a nice collar, a fresh collar. Yeah. So I mean, it's like it's all part of the thing. We got to have a costume budget. Like, what can I say? So yeah. Anyway, I think
got this shirt for free.
I did. Thanks, Stefan.
Thanks, Stefan.
Okay, so I'm in Osaka, but I got off a train and I noticed they had an interesting way to keep people from, like, falling onto the platform. See these bands right here? This is like a ropeway that lowers, and as you're going to see hopefully in a second here, it's going to raise up. And I haven't seen this in Tokyo before, so maybe this is just a thing that's just here? I'm not completely clear. But look at that. Hey, interesting method for making something safe.